You all are welcome to ECON Plus Sanath video sessions. In this video, I am going to give you a comprehensive guide how to answer MCQs. You know, in your final exam paper, in our local exam paper, A-level exam paper, you have to have two exam papers finally, MCQ paper and the second paper. MCQ paper is very important. If you look at the students who have got better results in last years, those who were smart in MCQs are the rankers basically. And answering MCQ is not easy than the second paper. Second paper, of course, you can write something. You can write 50% of the answer. You can write 75% of the answer. You can write 25% of the answer in the second paper. But MCQ, no 25%, no 50%, either 0 or 1. And if the MCQ is correct, you get full marks. If the MCQ is wrong, you get no marks. So therefore, MCQ is very important in the final exam paper. Most of the students face difficulties in answering MCQs. Even your term test papers, you could have seen in your term test, MCQ marks are lower than the second paper marks. Look at your last term test paper. I'm sure that the MCQ marks are lower than second paper marks. That's the way. That's the scenario. All are facing this issue. When I observe most of the students, when they are answering MCQs, one of the key mistake is this. You don't understand properly what is the theory behind MCQ. So remember, in ECON paper, A-level ECON paper, each and every MCQ is based on a specific theory. Very specific theory. Very specific theory. You have to understand the theory. Once you understand the theory behind the MCQ, so it's very easy to answer the MCQ. So I will show you using some MCQs how to identify the theory behind each and every MCQ. I have sent you an MCQ paper together with this video. You can go to that MCQ paper. I'm going to explain first few MCQs, how to identify specific theory behind each and every MCQ. Some may be very easy to understand, some may be difficult to understand. But somehow we have to understand the theory behind each and every MCQ. Okay, let's go for the first one. Question number 1. Look at this question. You are given two statements. Statement 1, fiscal policy is better than monetary policy to achieve macroeconomic objectives. Statement number 2, there is a negative relationship between investment and interest rate. Right? Now, this is a very common MCQ which comes in our paper. If you observe past papers, the theory behind this MCQ is what? Economic statements. Economic statements comes in two types, positive statements and normative statements. What is the simple difference? Very basic difference. Right? Normally these statements it's not coming to second paper. This section is mainly focusing on MCQ paper. What is the simple difference between, key difference between positive statement and a normative statement? The simple difference is this: positive statements are scientific, normative statements are non-scientific. What do you mean by scientific statement? You can prove it. You can see it in the real world. What is really happening? Or it's a theory that have been tested by someone. You can test it even today. You can test at any time, in anywhere. So what's a normative statement? You can't test. You can't see it's happening in the real world. No data, no evidences. Right? Now we'll take a very simple example. So don't misunderstand, I'm not going to teach you politics, right? Just a simple idea. What is happening nowadays in our country. So some people say it's like this. This slogan is very common nowadays. This is. What do you think this is about? Is it a positive statement or a normative statement? Positive, right? You can prove it. Why? Because petroleum queues are there, gas queues are there, milk powder queues are there, people are on the road, people are protesting. Those are the evidences. What is happening in the real world? What is happening in our country? Right? So this is a positive statement. Like this, if you can prove the statement using the real world evidences, if there are data to prove it, that's called a positive statement. Then out of these two statements, we see what is positive, what is normative, whether both are positive or whether both are normative. Statement 1, fiscal policy is better than monetary policy to achieve macroeconomic objectives. Here, even though you don't know what is monetary policy, what is fiscal policy, no matter. The key word in this statement is better. One person say fiscal policy is better, but another person say no, monetary policy is better. There is no conclusion regarding which policy is better. No decision. So therefore, statement 1 is normative. Second one, there is a negative relationship between investment and interest rate. This is a theory in economics. We have learned in unit number 5, investment of a country is a function of interest rate. And there is a negative relationship between investment and interest rate of a country. That's why any country try to maintain lower and stable interest rate. It is highly favorable for investment. So this is a theory. Any theory is, remember, positive because all the theories have been tested by someone on a certain day. We can prove it today even. We can prove it today even. So therefore, statement 2 is positive. Statement 1 is normative. Statement 2 is positive. Answer number 3. Question number 1, answer number 3. Right, question number 2. As there is a high demand, some multinational companies have reduced the production of the other medicines to increase the production of vaccinations for COVID-19. This statement tells about. You know, this was happening over last about 2 years period, even presently this is happening. Most of the companies were producing medicine. What they have done is they have increased production of vaccination for COVID-19. You would have heard a lot of brands came to Sri Lanka even, right? Pfizer, those things. So now once you look at this section, just look at the answers. What are the answers? The resource allocation problem, the problem of how to produce, production with, okay. Once you look at this answer, now theory should come to your mind. Theory should come to your mind. What is the theory behind this section? Basic economic problems or fundamental economic problems. Now you have to have a better understanding. What do you mean by basic economic problems? What are the basic economic problems? So if you can't remember basic economic problems, you can't answer this question. It's a different issue, right? Your knowledge is must. But even though you have the knowledge, you should be able to apply the knowledge to answer MCQ. Okay, what do you mean by what and how much to produce? We call it as resource allocation problem. How to allocate resources among the alternatives. Now, Sri Lanka, there is a big problem nowadays. No resources for petroleum, no resources for gas, but there are resources for apple. Neither. Apple tino, gas ne, midi tino, gas ne. Wine stores wine tino, whiskey brandy tino, by gas ne, ministunte. and resource allocation problem. We have not allocated resources properly. The whiskey the owner, gas the owner, key and capital margin. Brandy monoa, the gas the owner, key resource allocation as a problem in Sri Lanka nowadays. And then how to produce? Whether we use more labor or more capital, and whether you use more organic fertilizer or chemical fertilizer. Right? That's called how to select a production method. There are two production methods, capital intensive and labor intensive. Which production method to be used? And then third one, to whom? To whom we are going to produce goods and services. Who's the target customers? We call it as distribution problem. How to distribute existing production of a country among the population. Distribution problem. Distribution problem. Right? Okay. Now, out of these three, this section focus on what? What these multinational companies have done, they have reduced the production of some other medicines and they have allocated more resources to produce vaccination for COVID-19. That means this is a matter of what? The resource allocation. How to allocate the limited resources among alternative productions. Resource allocation problem. Answer number 1. Okay. Answer number 1. Question number 2. Answer number 1. Question number 3. You are given a diagram. The diagram you are given two products, public sector goods and private sector goods. To answer the theory, you better just go to the answers also. Without just going to the answers, you can understand what the theory behind this question. Question says, assume present choice of the economies at point A. That means they are producing only private sector goods. What can be concluded on this economy? You can see fundamental economic problems are solved by price mechanism, economic system, social market, like this. That means this question focuses on economic systems. This is a question which combines production possibilities curves and economic systems. Now you should have learned this theory. Right? You should have learned in theory how do we present economic systems in PPC. Right? How do we present economic systems in PPC? We know the economy is running at this point. That means the economy is producing only private sector goods. It's called pure market economic system. The economy is running at this point. This point. That means the economy produces only public sector goods. Economy is running with what economic system? Command economic system. The economy is running at this point, somewhere around here. See, more closer to public sector, more closer to command economic system. This is called social market economy. Government interfere more and more to the economy. And if the economy is running somewhere around here, that means it is more closer to market economic system, like most of Western countries, called liberal market economy. Liberal market economy. We can simply call these two as mixed economy. These two as mixed economy. Right? That's how very simply we present economic systems using PPC. So this theory you could have learned, right? If you have not learned this theory, that is a matter that you have to concern. I'm going to show in this case how to identify the theory behind the question. I'm not going to teach the entire theory here. You would have learned the theory and how to apply the theory how to identify the correct theory for the MCQ. Now you can easily answer this question. If you can remember this diagram, what you have done in your theory, so you can answer this question easily. So what is the answer? Pure market economic system. But no answer is there like pure market economy, right? You can see when you look at the question, there's no answer like pure market economy. But there's an answer which tells about pure market economic system. Answer number 1, fundamental economic problems are solved by the price mechanism. Fundamental economic problems are solved by price mechanism. That means the pure market economy. Question number 3, answer number 1. Question number 4. There is a consumer sovereignty in a market economy. This statement says that. So this is one of the key idea in a market economic system. When Adam Smith introduced market economic system in 1776, many years back, he said that one of the key aspects of the market economic system is consumer sovereignty. What do you mean by consumer sovereignty? Consumer should be able to consume whatever consumer wants. Consumer to own karana, consumer illana, hama bandayakma market එකේ තියෙන්න ඕන කියන එක තමයි consumer sovereignty කියලා කියන්නේ. Good example, if the consumers demand harmful drugs like heroin, there should be heroin in the market. That's a market economy. So remember, market economy doesn't look at what is good and what is bad. Goods and bads are not in economics. Right? Economics concerned whether consumer gets what he wants, called consumer sovereignty. That's why if you take some Western countries, there are weapons in the open market. You can buy the weapons, not to shoot someone else, but for your protection. And in some Western countries, there are harmful drugs in the open market. Market to get drugs there. Market to weapons there. Some are market economies la swabhavika. Right? Now මොකද මේකෙන් කියන්නේ? Consumer to own කරන බාණ්ඩ market එකේ තියෙන්න ඕන කියන එක. Right? The market supplies the products demanded by consumer. What consumer wants should be available in the market. That's called consumer sovereignty. MCQ number 5. Which of the situation where the zero opportunity cost of production can be shown with the production possibilities fronting? Right. Here, there are two concepts in the question. One is zero opportunity cost. The other one is it has been combined with production possibilities curve. Production possibilities fronting. Right? Okay. First, we look at what do you mean by zero opportunity cost? We have learned in economics, when you take any decision, any choice has an opportunity cost. Any choice has an opportunity cost. If I ask you to define opportunity cost, can you remind opportunity cost definition? What's opportunity cost definition? The cost of the next best alternative given up, right? දැන් මගේ වීඩියෝ එක බලනකොට මොනවා හරි සින්දුවක් අහන්න තියෙන chance එක නැති වෙනවා. අනේගේ loss එකක් තියෙනවා නේ. මගේ වීඩියෝ එක බලනකොට gossip ටිකක් අහන්න තියෙන chance එක නැති වෙනවා. ඒක opportunity cost එක. Right? So any choice has an opportunity cost. But there are 3 instances where the opportunity cost is 0. What are those 3 instances? Only 3 instances are there where opportunity cost is 0. Number 1, when free resources are used. That means if we can satisfy our needs and wants using the resources gifted by nature, then there is no opportunity cost. Good example, say assume people in our village areas, rural areas, they take the drinking water from natural sources, from a well or from a river. So they don't have cost or opportunity cost. The second one, if we can satisfy our needs and wants using unemployed resources, the resources which have not been used, පාවිච්චි කරපු නැති resource එකක් පාවිච්චි කරලා අපිට අපේ needs wants satisfy කරගන්න පුළුවන් නම් opportunity cost එකක් නැහැ. Second situation. Third situation, when the resources have no alternative uses. Right? Resources have no alternative uses. So these are the three instances where opportunity cost of a choice becomes zero. But remember, this question doesn't focus on this idea. Once you look at this question, this idea comes to your mind. I know that. So I reminded this one. Zero opportunity cost. When you go to production possibilities curve, zero opportunity cost comes in a different angle. Right? මම මතක් කරේ ඔයගලන්ට ටක් ගාලා මේ අදහස එනවා ඔළුවට. එන්න ඕන. Zero opportunity cost කියලා දැක ගමු. හැබැයි PPC වලට යනකොට මේක නෙමෙයි application. How do we identify zero opportunity cost in PPC section, right? ඔයගොල්ලෝ zero opportunity cost කියලා හිතුවොත් එහම ආන්සර් එක වරද්ද ගන්නවා ඔයගොල්ලෝ. Zero opportunity cost in PPC කියලා හිතන්න. Where do we present zero opportunity cost in PPC? You know, if we take PPC, we can take production points basically in two types. Any point on the PPC or any point inside the PPC. Any point on the PPC we call potential output, which satisfy two conditions, full employment and full production. If the economy is running on the PPC, there is an opportunity cost. That means if the economy is running at a point on the PPC, you can't increase one production without reducing other production. But if the economy is running at a point inside the PPC, there is no opportunity cost. We call them as actual output or inefficient output. There are two conditions for a production to be inefficient: unemployment and underemployment. If the resources are unemployed or underemployed, there is no opportunity cost. That means if you are running, the economy is running at a point inside the PPC, like here, you can increase one production or you can increase both production without reducing one production. You can increase production of the one good without reducing production of the other good. So therefore, in PPC, zero opportunity cost can be seen under these two situations: unemployment of resources and underemployment of resources. The resources are either unemployed or underemployed. There is no opportunity cost. What do you mean by unemployment? Resources are not used in a production. What do you mean by underemployment? Resources are used but not gaining maximum contribution. Right? Unemployment, people don't have jobs. Underemployment, people have jobs but not working properly. Like Sri Lankan snake. Pasatino, habai, Padakarani. There are jobs, but no work's done. So then you have to find the answer which tells one of these. When you make answer, answer. What is the answer? Answer number 4. Some resources are utilized at a lower level than their maximum capacity. That is underemployment. Underemployment. Right. Now you can understand when I was explaining these 5 MCQs, first 5 MCQs, my first MCQ paper, what I sent to you, you can see how to identify the correct theory behind each and every MCQ. Right? So if you want to learn more like this, you can join our newly started 6 months paper class that I'm going to do. I'm going to cover the entire syllabus. The entire syllabus, remember, the entire syllabus will be covered in this class within 6 months period. We had only 1 day in last week. You can join the class by the coming Saturday. The class is on Saturday, 8 to 11 p.m. It's fully online. We are discussing the first MCQ paper. I have sent it to you. If you want to join this class, you can drop me a message. See whether this class is there a difference than the other class that you go, and whether you can learn something, right? So this is how I'm going to do these MCQ papers, basically, which covers the entire syllabus. Remember, which covers the entire syllabus. You can cover the entire syllabus in this class, mainly using MCQ papers. My plan is to do minimum 24 MCQ papers for 6 months period, starting from April to September. Right? If you feel this class is matched for you, please drop me a message. You can join us. Okay, see you all for allocating your time to watch my video. All the best. Good luck.